guys, this is Em, and we're here to talk about kids' ministries. Kids' ministries, but today is my favorite topic. We're doing thumbs up and flops. Sometimes in kids' ministries, you'll come up with ideas, or maybe you'll see an idea somewhere else and you'll want to try it. Some people will just go like, yeah, let's try it, but some people might be a little bit more analytic and may go, oh, will this work, will this not? And they'll probably have a debate with themselves on whether it will work or not. And sometimes people are too scared to try something new because they're scared of it failing. Important thing in children's ministry is when you're trying new ideas, um, you can't be afraid of failing. Every time you fail with an idea, you're getting closer to something that's really going to take off, something that's going to work, and that the kids are really going to get. So for the first one, I'm actually going to use an illustration that was thumbs up and it was a flop. I did it in multiple places, multiple age groups and multiple things. So obviously age group and just the type of the kids does have an effect. So I'm going to use this illustration and then I'm going to show you where it had worked and where it hadn't worked. Because sometimes you might think of an idea, you might try it and it is a flop, but then guess what? You try that same idea in a different environment or a different age gap or a different kind of kids, and it's bound to work. I'll give you an illustration. There was a game I came up with. It was a game that took a lot of prep, and I tried it with like private school kids. Game did not work, but I did the exact same game many years later with public school kids, and they got it. They got it straight away, and so it worked, and it was so funny. They laughed so much, and so it's just one of those things that sometimes you can try something and it doesn't work, and you can go, oh well, that didn't work, so you'll never try it again. So for the first thumbs up and flops, we're actually going to do, the one that worked. Now, this is not an original idea. I was blessed to be in a youth group where I had a youth pastor that actually preached this in a message. He did an object lesson. So the first one is an object lesson, and it's with balloons. There is many object lessons you can do with balloons. I really wanted to have a balloon for doing this, but anyway, I don't have one. Maybe next time I'll have a balloon. But you know what this lesson was? When the youth pastor preached he preached a message on bearing one another's burdens. And he used this illustration. But I don't necessarily use this illustration for that because it can be used for other things. I find teaching faith to kids is very difficult. There's the blindfold, there's the sit on the chair, and there's those kind of things which they work, but there's still an element that the kids with the blindfold, not so much, but the sitting on a chair. When a kid sits on a chair, they've seen everybody sit on a chair. They've sat on a chair. So it's not like something like faith in God. It's not like something like I've seen others do it. I've never done it myself. So it's not one of those kind of things. Whereas this is one of those kind of things. They generally have never done this. And it's stand on a balloon. Who can stand on a balloon? Who can have a balloon hold your weight? And so what we do is there's a few ways to do it. Obviously, it depends on where you are and what you have and how you can do it. So the way I prefer to do it is I like to have a balloon that's one color and on all the rest another color. So generally it's faith in God. So I like, for my other balloons, I like to use white or red. But obviously, if you're some places I've been where I taught it in Ethiopia and I didn't have the luxury of buying different color balloons, so it was multicolored. So it doesn't really matter if you can, but for the one in the middle, the main one, or there's two main ones that would be the same color, and that one I might draw a face on it. So I might draw a face on the two. Now the problem is you stand on a balloon and it's gonna pop. We all play that game where you're popping each other's balloons by stomping on each other's feet. That's an oldie but a goodie. But when you stand on a balloon, it pops. And you say, I can stand on a balloon. And the kids don't believe it because it always pops. Balloons pop so easy. So how can you stand on a balloon? I mean, that's just crazy. What happens is you take that one balloon and you put it in the middle and you surround it by all the other balloons. Obviously, when you blow them up, you don't want them too big because then they become oblong, so they become different shapes. But you want them kind of all the same shape, all the same size, preferably roundish, so it doesn't be too unstable. Obviously, you're going to put a piece of wood. The first time it was ever done, it was like a massive slab of wood on top. Obviously, I've not had the luxury of having a massive slab of wood with me, so I've always used one of those tables, fold-up tables, whether it's a wooden one or a plastic one, and you put the soft side or the flat, smooth side down towards the balloons. In Ethiopia, I didn't have the luxury of having any of them, so I used a desk. I forgot to prepare the drawers, and the drawers fell out everywhere. It was kind of a bit funny, but anyway, it's part of the excitement. But so you flip it over top, and then you stand in the middle. And what happens is you can have the arms up or the legs up and use that as support to hold on to if you're a bit wobbly on it. But you stand in the middle, and I generally teach the next part while standing on the balloons. And the kids get amazed. And then I say, can you put your faith and do you believe you can trust that you can stand on this with me? And they're kind of like arguing in their head, like, well, she's standing on it, but if I stand on it, surely they're going to pop as well. I mean, that's extra weight. And so it goes through a process, and you keep adding kids to standing on there with you till the table is full. And those balloons don't pop, they hold it. So obviously you can use it in the concept of bearing one another's burdens, faith. I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. On my own, I'm weak, but with Christ, I am strong. And there's so many different applications. I'm sure you can think of some applications yourself. Obviously, now we're going to talk about when it was thumbs up and thumbs down. I've done it maybe 4 times. And it's been different reactions each time. And so we're going to work through quickly on what was thumbs up, what was thumbs down, and why it was thumbs up or why it was thumbs down. Because sometimes I think there is a reason, and when we work those reasons out, it kind of helps us in working how we can work an idea for that age bracket or that kind of kids or whatever the case may be. So quickly, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, make sure you click the link below, but also follow us on socials, all right? Kids Ministries with M on socials with dots in between, and then check out our website at kidsministries.com.au. Now, thumbs up, flops. First time I ever taught it, I think it was with preps and year ones. And it was a decent sized class and it worked well. We probably got the whole class actually standing on it. And they really took well to it. Preps and year ones was definitely a thumbs up. Then I did it in Ethiopia. I was teaching in not the country town, but a smaller group. No, it wasn't that small. There would have been about 30 kids there. So it was a decent size, and it was a flop. And the reason why it was a flop, it would have been a thumbs up except one problem. I'd planned this lesson, I was teaching these kids multiple times while I was there. And so obviously it was just the lesson that we had everything there for. And so I was ready to go and my interpreter didn't show up. So I got stuck with the 8-year-old as my interpreter. 8-year-old. Yeah, he was a little bit, not that little, obviously. 8-year-old as an interpreter. Now, the 8-year-old didn't have an attention span and he got distracted by the balloon, so you can imagine what happened with all the other kids. But if I had my original interpreter, it would have been thumbs up. The next time I tried it with 2 and 3 and 4-year-olds. Thumbs down. You know why? they're too young, and when they get excited about balloons, they get totally distracted, and it's, oh, I want to play with the balloons. Oh, I want to play with the balloons. Ah. And so they get all excited and lose their concentration span like that. The next time I tried it, which was probably one of my favorite, was in a kids club setting. It was a holiday kids club, and it was a bunch of kids, and it was kind of a mixed range of primary school age. So from probably 6 to 12-year-olds, and it worked great. That was one of my favorite times. Actually, there's probably a photo on the website of the time I did that one. There's a bit of a sailor theme. So, thumbs up and thumbs down. You can have an idea and it can work. You can have an idea and it can't work, but don't get discouraged, because next time you try that idea, it might just work, or next idea you get might work. So, you guys have a great one.